And hi, and welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond. And today, I honestly just kind of want to give you an update on how things are going with me and just discuss some shit. Why not? It's my fucking show. Anyway, so I will say I recorded some vids earlier that I'm going to be posting to YouTube and eventually will end up on TikTok and Twitter. And I will say today is probably the first time in a while that I've actually kind of felt normal performing. Because I've been struggling a lot with timidness ever since I had started performing after being diagnosed with bone spurs, because I was so afraid to injure myself even more. So, that's been getting better. The doctor told me that he wanted to give me cortisone shots in my heels, which I've basically been trying to avoid because it sounds very, very painful. And I'm going to be honest with them and say, if you want to give me the shots, I need you to knock me the fuck out, because I know I'm not going to be able to sit there and have them inject needles into both of my heels and be awake for it. I can take a certain amount of pain, but that just sounds god awful. So that's an update with that. And also I want to talk about, I've never really talked about on this podcast before, what I watch in terms of TV and movies and stuff like that. So I felt like this would be honestly my first time doing that. And I will say, in terms of TV, I just finished watching, as the season ended, this show called X-Rated NYC. It's on Out TV, and it's so good. It's so good. It very much reminds me of the A-List New York from Logo, which is another show. I didn't see it in its initial run, but I fucking love it. And I will say that's what I miss about Logo. I miss original programming. They had some decent shit. They had the A-List New York, A-List Dallas, which I've never seen, but I saw a preview of it and it looks good. Fire Island, Finding Prince Charming. They had all these good reality shows, and all of that honestly kind of ended once Drag Race moved to VH1, because in all honesty, that was kind of the reason why all of the other reality shows that were on got to be made, was because Drag Race was bringing in lots of money to Logo, and therefore they were allowed to do different shows. And I miss that. That's honestly what Out TV seems to be doing. And I think the reason that they're able to do it is because they're not in America. And that's what's able to make them film the way that they do and take risk on shows, is because America is kind of uptight with gay people now. It looked like during the Obama administration things were starting to get a little bit better, but then almost right from the beginning of Trump's presidency, things just got fucking worse. And That's why you needed shows on Logo. Like, that's why there needs to be shows now. Like, again, The A-List New York, Finding Prince Charming. You don't think about it being like a cultural significance, but pretty much for gay people in America, the only show that exists now is RuPaul's Drag Race. Because there isn't really this queer show created by queer creators other than that show. And it's sad. Now, granted, queer people getting together, all of us all together, and like coming up with an idea and doing something doesn't necessarily always work out well. If you look at the movie Bros, which I will admit that got like shit on by a lot of people, and I will say I looked at the previews, it didn't look funny from the previews. It looks like looked dumb, which some gay people are saying like, oh, now they're not going to make any gay movies anymore. It's like, motherfucker, honestly, I feel like gay cinema needs to stay in the independent realm anyway, because that's the only place where movies are allowed to take risk. I would say when you have movies like The Big Gay Musical, Going Down in La La Land, Kiss Me, Kill Me, Truth, Triple Cross, when you have these movies that aren't like mainstream, they're able to, like, in my opinion, be better. Because you're allowed to take risks. You're allowed to see, I will say, especially in Truth and Triple Cross, you literally see sex scenes and they're intense. They're not like overly dramatic. They're not like Game of Thrones shit, but they're like, it's real. There's no two people are supposed to start fucking and then all of a sudden you see a sun and all of a sudden it's morning. No, you actually see stuff going on and it's kind of hot. But like in mainstream culture and like in the mainstream atmosphere and like big budget productions, they're not going to go that far. They're not going to do what The Big Gay Musical did in 2009, where they actually shot in a LGBT center, like testing center for HIV. They're not going to show that shit in a mainstream movie because that's a little bit too real. That's a little bit too honest. But honestly, you need it. And that's why, as I've said, independent stuff, that's why I will take independent gay movies over them making another mainstream, big budget production, big studio gay movie again. So, I will say, I'm one of the people that said Bros failed good. Because even if you look at like rated R movies, they don't really go that far. Unless it's like straight people, because straight people get to go as far as they want in movies. But with gay people, you're only allowed to go to a certain point. And then it's too much. I mean, I'm not someone who says you have to have like just have sex scenes to be like edgy, but if you're gonna do them, fucking do them. And it's just like with gay shows. Honestly, I don't think, again, all gay people have ever gotten are reality shows. Because, yes, there are gay characters in scripted shows, but there has never been, at least to my knowledge, a fully queer, gay TV show where it's not a reality show. And yes, as I've said, I like the messiness of reality shows. I'm not going to deny that. But it would be nice to see something different. Because we're in the year, 2022, and we can't change anything, but we'll give shows where it's all straight people. Actually, I should say, in terms of TV has been moving slow. Because honestly, if you look back, it's only been a few years ago that black people have been allowed to start getting shows on a network. Like, if you take Blackish, I think that's only been, like, maybe 10 years, if not even that, to get a show for all black people off of BET and onto a major network. It's nice. And it'd be nice to have Logo have some shows, because Logo has gotten so sad now. It's honestly just all reruns of shows from like the 70s or 80s, and it's kind of sad. It's like, and they're not gay shows either. That's the thing. It's like, there's shows like Mama's Family, The Golden Girls, which, yes, I get it. They're a part of queer culture. I understand that. I'm not dense, but you're going to have a network basically of reruns, and you're supposed to be the gay network, and you're not going to produce one gay show. Just one. I'm not asking for like 15 or 20. I'm asking for like one, maybe two. Because, excuse me, yes, Drag Race is good. It's great. It's branched out to other countries, which is also good. But that can't be the only show. That can't be any, and the fact is, nobody's even breached to create a show. And it's like, honestly, if there were to come up with something, I honestly would love a show that's, and I know this may be radical, that has not a lot of white people in the show. I wouldn't mind a show. And here's the other thing. Another thing, and I would say this because Love, Simon, the movie, breached this subject. Show a fucking show with an interracial couple, like gay couple. Because all the shows that have happened, I would say a lot of them, I think Blackish has two queer black characters, and I say good for that. But for so many years, the only thing that was allowed when you had gay people as couples were two white men. And I look at that and I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, I could say as a black person, I couldn't imagine that. Like, having shows, or no, sorry, being a black gay person, having shows for years that just like only have white gay couples, and as someone who like has only been in interracial relationships, who's only in one now, it's like almost crazy to think. So you're not even gonna try to make a show where you have a white guy and a black guy dating each other, a white guy and an Asian guy, a black guy and an Asian guy, a white guy and a Native American guy and a black guy. It's so many combinations where you're like, you just didn't see it. You didn't think of it. And that's why I will say, in terms of why I think I'm not looking for another big budget gay movie to bring this around, is because in the independent realm, they would fucking take that risk. But in mainstream, no way. No way. You can't do that. That would be like suicide to them. Because you just apparently can't do anything that's even remotely near edgy. I say edgy in quotes because it's like, it's not even edgy to do that. It's not quote unquote edgy to do that. It's showing the fucking world. It's like, how hard is this to do? And it's not like there aren't black gay actors. I mean, actually, I did just actually think of another one besides Blackish Empire had gay characters who were black. And I say, good. Like, shit. This almost to me seems like, why would this not be a thing? And some people say there's like no protest for it. The reason we're not protesting studios is because, unfortunately, we as gay people are also trying to fight fascism right now. Because it's just going to happen, I'm afraid. And that does scare me a little bit because, in truth, I mean, like all gay people, we're all scared of fascism. Well, actually, I shouldn't say all gay people, because we still have a couple idiots roaming around saying, oh, I want to vote for Trump. I want to vote for Trump. Bitch, fuck you. If you were in the gay community voting for Trump, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry to switch subjects, but like, why? You think that the party that's secretly full of fucking closet cases is gonna support you? Are you insane? I mean, think about it. Take a step back. You want to support a party that doesn't like who you are. And that to me, like, blows my mind. That people would even, like, think like that. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's I can't explain it other than it's nuts. I mean, you know what? I don't even want to go there. I will admit, I usually try and make this podcast a half an hour, but I don't want to go into that, and I'm actually out of ideas. So I'm going to bring this podcast to a close. This is Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and I hope you've enjoyed.